The timing couldn't be more dramatic. Just days before he's due to testify before the Madlanga Commission, the National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams has been suspended from Parliament. For the next 20 parliamentary sitting days, he is barred from taking part in debates and committee meetings, and his parliamentary salary has also been reduced after Parliament had found he breached the code of its ethics conduct by publishing the personal information of a Democratic Alliance staff member on social media. Now, it is also his second ethics offence involving social media. Now, to be clear, that this suspension has nothing to do with the Madlanga Commission, but it does add up to the growing list of controversies surrounding this outspoken member of Parliament. Because while Parliament questions his conduct on social media, the Madlanga Commission is preparing to ask far more serious questions. Welcome back to Political Pulse. Now, how did Fadil come into possession of this highly classified crime intelligence documents? Why did investigators rely so heavily on those documents? Were those documents obtained lawfully? And if they weren't, what does that mean for one of the biggest police corruption investigations in recent South African history? These are the questions that could dominate his appearance before the Madlanga Commission. Fadil Adams has been summoned to the Madlanga Commission. Now, to understand why his testimony matters, we need to go back to around at least a year when Adams said that classified crime intelligence documents mysteriously appeared at his parliament. To him, they were slipped underneath his door. Those documents allegedly contained information pointing to corruption inside crime intelligence. Now, instead of ignoring them, Adams submitted what is known as a Section 27 referral to Investigating Directorate, IDEC. That referral called for investigations into alleged fraud and corruption involving senior crime intelligence officials. So that single referral would eventually trigger what became known as the Project Diversion, and it is an investigation that expanded far beyond Adams's original complaint. Senior crime intelligence officials, they found themselves under investigation. There were fraud cases opened, and high-ranking officials were arrested. So, as political pressure intensified, President Ramaphosa eventually established the Madlanga Commission to determine whether these investigations were conducted lawfully. So, while Adams isn't accused by the commission itself, his complaint became the spark that lit the fire. Over the past several weeks, the commissions have questioned senior IDEC officials about how this investigation unfolded. Now, one of the biggest concerns centers around Fadil's Section 27 affidavit. Evidence presented before the commission suggests that Fadil, his evidence named only 3 senior police officials, but when investigators later prepared documents for prosecutors, several other names had been added. So where did those extra names come from? Were they supported by evidence, or did investigators expand the case beyond what Fadil originally alleged? The commission has also heard testimony that an IDEC investigator allegedly told Adams that the investigation couldn't proceed unless he signed a formal affidavit. That has become one of the most controversial aspects of this inquiry, because investigators are supposed to investigate evidence, they are not supposed to create it. Fadil Adams now heads into the Madlanga Commission carrying far more political baggage than he did just a week ago. Now, he is currently facing criminal charges in a separate matter. Now, he has now been suspended from Parliament for a second ethics violation relating to his use of social media, and He remains at the center of the Commission's investigation into classified crime intelligence documents that he insists now that were anonymously delivered to his parliamentary office. So, commissioners have already questioned whether Fadil, who was not authorized to possess classified intelligence documents, should have had those documents in the first place. The former IREC head, Andrea Johnson, even further suggested that if the documents were indeed classified, Fadil himself should also face legal consequences for possessing them. Now that creates a remarkable situation. The man who says he exposed corruption may now find himself answering difficult questions about whether he broke the law before anyone else did. Whether he can convincingly explain how he obtained those documents, why he kept them, and how they ended up triggering Project Diversion may become one of the defining moments of the entire Madlanga Commission. Now, Adams maintains he acted as a whistleblower, and he says the documents were anonymously delivered to him in the public interest. He denies any wrongdoing. His testimony may finally determine which version of the Commission finds more credible. Do you believe Fadil is a genuine whistleblower, or has this investigation raised more questions than answers? Subscribe to Political Pulse, and as always, keep your pulse on the nation.